Dome Cathedral Square. And in this central square, yeah, people can relax and take in the delights on view. And sure enough, it does look as though it's 3:15 in the afternoon. Yeah, more of these figures duplicated down this side of the building. Here we have the Dome Cathedral. And right here, more naked people. In sculpture form, of course. From what I've heard of people's chatter in the hostel, everything's so cheap. So I'm assuming they're happy to pay the prices in the old town. Or maybe they've just found the one place which undercuts the restaurants and bars within a stone's throw of where I'm standing right now. Yeah, I'm not sure what that mural was supposed to be about, but part of it's dropped off the wall, which is a shame. Incoming pigeons. And what do we have down here? Well, we got a slightly closer look, he says, almost falling over the cobblestones. Slightly closer look at that mural. Okay, a man with a flying machine, maybe. More of the same, I hear a lot of you saying. Oh, this architecture doesn't change that much, does it? The decorative figures are all much of a muchness. Well, yeah, you either like Art Nouveau or you don't. That's what is obvious, isn't it? Don't really need to point that out. This is the Sherlock Art Hotel. Ooh la la. I wonder how long it's been known as that. When did it get the Sherlock title? And Victory Pub. I think we know that that's probably targeting some kind of stag audience, although it doesn't seem as though it's that kind of nasty, rowdy sort of atmos, does it? So maybe Victory Pub refers to something else. Another little square which is very similar here on Târgu Aiela, the end of Târgu Aiela and Cramu Aiela. It's reminiscent of the square outside where the hostel's located, isn't it? And we've got some more stone sculpture figures in the background. Abandoned police van. And where would we be without a Costa coffee? On this little sampler of Riga, we're now going to head down into another important square. There's quite a lot going on here. It's originally built 700 years ago. Allegedly. Certainly a handsome building. And here is a figure with a sword and a shield, with the emblem of Riga city on the shield, and a plaque in tiny, tiny, tiny writing. Will that fish's head suddenly spurt water at me if I get closer? Likely, isn't it? Let's see, what do we have here? Don't know if you can read that. It says clean drinking water. Originally, the Roland's statue was installed in 1896 as a symbolic decoration of the artesian well in the Town Hall Square. In 1999, when the House of the Blackheads and the Town Hall Square was consecrated, a copy of the sculpture created by the sculptor Edvins Krummins was reinstalled on a new pedestal. The artesian well, which was in the pedestal as before, was connected to the water supply system of the city of Riga in 2001. It doesn't tell us about the legend of Roland or the actual history of Roland if he wasn't just a legend. It's a shame that, isn't it? It's always nice to get the full details of these figures, whether it's a mythology or a history, but still gives us something to go and look up on Google. We don't want it all made too easy for us, do we? Otherwise, we'll become lazy tourists. And we don't want to become lazy tourists. If everything made simple and put on a plate, well, where would be the fun and even point of us exploring? I'm going to turn towards a rather unattractive building, and it's meant to be unattractive, of course. Here we have the museum, which enters into a dark period of history. Museum of Occupation, covering the years of Soviet oppression of Latvia. Yeah, memories of 20th century Riga and Latvia, which I'm sure a lot of people would like to forget. But if you forget, then history is liable to repeat itself. So perhaps we're all compelled to remember. So if you feel like going in and learning a little bit of that history, the museum's waiting for you. I did go in, I remember, on my very first visit to Riga. Would I recommend it? It's so hard to say because it's potentially going to put a damper on your day. But at the same time, history is there to be preserved and for us to make ourselves aware, especially if we're visiting a part of the world where we know so little of the history. There I am getting all serious. Quite unlike me, isn't it? There's a hop-on, hop-off sightseeing Riga bus. Looks as though it's going to be taking off next at 4:45. Just looking to see if there are any details of the prices. And no prices available. So you'll have to find out for yourself how much that hop-on, hop-off bus is going to cost you. Oh, here we go. The Grand Tour, 20 to 35 euros, lasts 60 to 70 minutes. Big Riga Tour with short audio commentary, 1.5 to 2 hours, is 20 to 30 euros. Jurmala Resort hop-on, hop-off, audio tour, 5 to 6 hours, 20 to 35 euros. And there's the actual timing. The trips start here and the trips end here. So I've done that little bit of work for you. A marks the spot on the map of Riga where we're actually standing now, right by Town Hall Square, if you don't happen to have a leaflet to hand. That worked out all very conveniently, didn't it? Oh, not Aita, Paldies. Nice bus driver just handed me a copy of the brochure covering Riga's red bus hop-on, hop-off services. And I think that'll be a nice addition to the hostel library of touristic related information. I did pick up a few items yesterday which I got from tourist information in Sigulda and brought back to the hostel here in Riga just to do my little bit, because I'm somebody who likes to find information like that when I enter a hostel. I love finding it's got a stack of touristic related literature which I can take advantage of. Of course there's tourist information to visit as well, but still it's, you know, when I'm in lazy mode, which is most of the time, it's very convenient to have that amount of detail at your hands on the coffee table in the common room, for example. I'm a big fan, and therefore if I'm going to expect and hope that's possible for me to take advantage of, I like to contribute and give back, and when I can, take things which I think, hey, yeah, I may not be using it myself, or maybe I will, but ultimately I'm going to leave this in the hostel for the next traveller. Why not? I've been tempted to venture across the river. I know you want to see more of the old town, and you want to hear less of me blabbing. My attention's been drawn by this map to this bridge, coloured in orange and red, which is the bridge right in front of me over there, running from Riga's Town Hall Square straight across the river, and just on the edge of the map, number 3 is allegedly a railway museum. I've got to, haven't I? Come on, you know you want to. All right, I will. Might be a bit chilly walking over that bridge, but the exercise will do me good. Here we go. Thank you, taxi driver, for not running me down. Thank you. And here we are, negotiating. Oh, what happens here? Okay, there's roadworks ongoing here, but hopefully the drivers realise it's a pedestrian crossing. Time to cross the river. Down by the river. Oh no, I better shut up. Neil Young will sue me. See you on the other side. In case you've ever been to Riga and wondered, either looking across the river from the old town or going across the river on a bus, there is this large Toblerone shaped building which I've thought in the past might be all sorts of things, but now I see up close it's actually the Latvian National Library. Nothing as exotic as I thought it was, but as soon as I saw that it's the Latvian National Library, I got a flash in my head of Minsk in Belarus 2008, when I visited the city. Just outside the centre there's a particular specific shaped building, not like this one, but it has its own specific shape. I'll let you Google it to see for yourself. It was known locally, I think, as the Diamond. Yeah, the President Lukashenko gave the citizens of Belarus an opportunity they couldn't say no to fund the building of this new modernist style creation, their new National Library of Belarus. And it was just a flashback. Today seems to be a day for flashbacks and moments of deja vu. This isn't the reason why I've come across the river. I wasn't that curious to find out what this curious shaped building is actually all about, but the very next building along, you can see it looks like a warehouse, and indeed it may be a warehouse. I think a warehouse for old rolling stock, trains and trams. Not sure entirely, but it's the Latvian Railway Museum. So here we are at the museum. There's a sign saying, "You're at the Latvian Railway Museum. If you want to see more, you've got to buy a ticket." That's pretty much it. There's just one or two other engines on the other side. Frankly, Mr. Shankly, I think I can give it a miss. It's something similar to the scale of Haapsalu, which of course, if you walk around outside, is completely free, and it's just the interior where you require a ticket. But here you require a ticket for the whole thing. Given that what you see without buying a ticket is pretty much all that they've got on display, it means that how much is hiding inside then? It does look as though there's a sort of warehouse building here which stretches down the side and then runs down the edge. But I'm not sure how big a but this is. I peered in through the windows and there's just one wagon in a big empty room and the front of one engine. So, no thanks. Of course, when I find out the ticket is just €1, I might change my mind and come back. And when you've got some nice old tram vehicles on display like this, why pay more when you can see them for free? Unless a bus comes along and gets in the way, of course. Busy old Riga, eh? Busy old Riga. Now it's time to go back over the river, cross the bridge, and might get a nice sort of panoramic view of some of the things we've already seen, but from this side of the river. Here we are on the bridge, just getting a view, a cityscape of sorts, a riverside scape of Riga's old town. Right there in the middle would be, well, it's the president's home now. Now, do you remember the House of the Blackheads, or the organisation called the Blackheads? Yes, from back in Tallinn again. Well, you can go in and see this magnificent architectural delight from the inside and learn all about the Blackheads. Here are the opening times with ticket prices. Ticket with coffee. Interesting. So not open Monday. Very often, of course, in Europe, that's the case. A lot of museums closed on a Monday. And if you're wondering, House of the Blackheads, but how will we recognize it? I've got a confession to make. The House of the Blackheads is actually a building we've already seen. So yes, I've come back across the river and it's this building close to the Roland statue. I have a memory from nearly 20 years ago of seeing is it a pig or a pig and a dog and a goat or something? Somewhere around here, there was a large bronze of such animals, and I think it's not the only location you're going to find this symbolism in Europe, but maybe it's not here anymore. I'm not sure. But just on the corner there, I almost forgot to mention, tourist information. So Town Hall Square is a very useful point for us tourists to pinpoint on the map. And another church this time with a clock, and if you believe the clock, well, we did mention it before, it's apparently 12 midday or 12 midnight. Might not be going along with the timing of that particular clock. I can satisfy myself with these figures, and also as consolation for not finding all those animals standing on each other's backs. Well, it's meagre consolation, if you can even call it consolation, but here we are, outside of the Baltic jewellery store. It's a wooden horse. Or is it? It's a wooden something. Ah well. Can't have everything, can we? But you can have outdoor archery over there in that little green space if you feel like picking up a bow and arrow. Hope your travel insurance covers such activities. Meanwhile, I think I'm going to head back around here and just sort of freestyle it a little bit. I'm really not sure what I'm likely to encounter because I'm no longer following the map as such, whereas I was kind of following the map before, loosely. It's a sticker sensation. Ha! Well, colour me smugly. Guess what I found? Just coming around the corner. It hasn't been removed. I didn't dream it up. But it's not exactly as I remember it. So I don't know if this is what I saw back in 2004, or is it the latest incarnation? So it's a chicken on a cat, on a dog, on a donkey. So yeah, it really is different from the pig with the dog and the cat and the goat and goodness knows what else I was dreaming up in my stupid brain. And what's it all about? The city musician. Maybe he enchanted these creatures. A bit like the Pied Piper, but with animals. Maybe. But of course I did just make that bit up. Now, where do we go? Down that way? Or down this way? Where there's a church again. Another church. I think maybe this way. I want to sneak down the side of the church and see where it leads. Oh, hello. Is it a courtyard? Or is it more than a courtyard? Or is it a blind alley? Am I walking into a blind alley? It looks like a fun place for people to come and eat and drink and be merry and enjoy Tim's mints over there. And there is a way out, which is good. And bang bang, streetwear and coffee, strange combination. A little bit of works going on in the old town, as there always must be for maintaining the old buildings, of course. But it's not bad, certainly nothing like Helsinki, if you remember the Helsinki videos. My God. But here, if you want to drag yourself out of the Middle Ages and think you're not in Riga Old Town for just a wee while, you can go and indulge in shopping. And you've been able to do that since 1938 there in Galleria Centris, the central galleries for shopaholics, or people just in need of a few new threads and want to pay the full price. Okay, we're on Valnoajala. I wasn't expecting this. I'm pretty close to the hostel up there, but I'm also pretty close to going and getting some more food because, to be honest, I'm getting a bit peckish. It's good to get my appetite back, if that's what all this walking is doing. I've got plenty more walking coming up in the days ahead.